Keanu Reeves has long seemed like a contradiction in a world addicted to spectacle. In an industry fueled by ego and excess, he moves with an almost monastic calm, as though fame were something that happened around him rather than to him. For decades, headlines have traced the tragedies threaded through his life, shaping a public narrative of sorrow. Yet suffering alone does not define him. What sets him apart is the manner in which he has carried loss, without bitterness, without public complaint, without surrendering to cynicism. Audiences have celebrated him as a cinematic hero, but his truest strength has unfolded far from the screen. His story is not simply about endurance. It is about remaining kind in a world that often rewards hardness, about preserving gentleness when life repeatedly tests the limits of the human heart. The abandonment that marked his beginning. Born in Beirut on September 2, 1964, Reeves entered the world with a name meaning cool breeze over the mountains. His early years, however, carried little stillness. His father, Samuel Nolan Reeves Jr., left when Keanu was only 3 years old, vanishing without explanation. The absence was not dramatic. It was quiet and permanent, a door closing without warning. Years later, a brief encounter at 13 felt less like reunion and more like meeting a stranger. The disappearance left more than an empty seat at the table. It removed a blueprint for belonging. Growing up without that foundation forced him to confront questions about identity and loyalty long before most children do. The lesson came early. Love can be fragile, and stability is not guaranteed. That understanding shaped the introspective, self-reliant man he would become. A childhood of motion and uncertainty. After his father's departure, Reeves's mother moved frequently, carrying her children across continents in search of opportunity and survival. Sydney, New York, and finally Toronto became temporary anchors in a restless childhood. His mother remarried multiple times, and stepfathers entered and exited his life like passing weather systems. Stability came instead from grandparents and caretakers who provided consistency amid upheaval. School proved challenging. Dyslexia made reading difficult, and clashes with authority led to expulsions. Yet amid academic struggles, he found refuge on the ice rink. As a hockey goalie, nicknamed The Wall, he discovered the discipline of standing firm under pressure. The position suited him, absorbing impact, protecting others, enduring the storm. Even then, resilience was not loud or dramatic. It was practiced quietly, through repetition and resolve. Theater as salvation and self-discovery. Acting entered Reeves's life not as ambition, but as escape. Theater offered something hockey could not, the chance to step into other identities, to reshape pain into narrative. On stage, confusion became expression, instability transformed into art. Performance allowed him to channel emotion without explaining it. At 17, he left school and moved to Los Angeles, driven by little more than determination. The early years were lean, shared apartments, temporary jobs, endless auditions. Rejection became routine. His first film role in Youngblood brought a modest paycheck and a symbolic echo of his hockey days. Slowly, opportunity expanded. Acting became less an escape and more a vocation. It was not fame he sought, but survival through creation. In learning to inhabit other lives, he discovered a way to steady his own. Brotherhood and Loss. River Phoenix. In the late 1980s, Reeves formed a deep bond with River Phoenix, a fellow actor known for sensitivity and introspection. Their friendship deepened during My Own Private Idaho, a project that reflected their shared artistic seriousness. They connected over motorcycles, music, and philosophical questions about meaning. When Phoenix died in 1993 from an overdose outside the Viper Room, the loss struck Reeves profoundly. grief arrived without preparation, reshaping his understanding of mortality. The suddenness reinforced an unsettling truth: life's brilliance can vanish overnight. Reeves carried the sorrow privately, rarely discussing it in detail. Yet those close to him observed the shift, an even deeper quiet, a reflective stillness. The loss did not embitter him. It deepened his empathy. Devotion to family. A decade of care. Long before global superstardom, Reeves faced another challenge when his sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia. For years, he adjusted his life around her treatment, prioritizing family over career convenience. He moved closer to be present, contributed financially to medical care, and offered unwavering support. When The Matrix transformed him into an international icon, he used his earnings not only for personal security, but to fund research and assist others facing similar battles. He established support quietly, without branding it as philanthropy. After a long struggle, Kim entered remission. The experience reinforced a belief that love demands action. Caregiving was not a grand gesture. It was daily commitment. Through illness and uncertainty, Reeves demonstrated that loyalty is not spoken. It is practiced. The child who never lived in 1999, as his professional life soared, Reeves faced unimaginable heartbreak. He and Jennifer Syme were expecting a daughter, Ava Archer Syme Reeves. Preparations for new life filled their home with anticipation. But on Christmas Eve, tragedy unfolded. Their child was stillborn. The silence of a nursery meant for laughter became overwhelming. Grief entered not as an event, but as a presence that reshaped their relationship. They tried to hold one another through sorrow, yet shared loss can sometimes magnify pain rather than soothe it. Their romantic partnership ended, though mutual care remained. The experience left Reeves with an intimate understanding of absence, the kind that alters every future plan. It was a grief without public language, endured mostly in silence. Another farewell too soon. Only 18 months after their daughter's death, Syme died in a car accident in 2001. The suddenness reopened wounds still raw. Reeves once again confronted the fragility of life. Funerals have a finality that no philosophy can soften. He served as a pallbearer, witnessing yet another chapter close. Such repetition of loss might have hardened many hearts. Instead, it seemed to expand his compassion. He rarely speaks in detail about those years, yet when he does, his words are measured and sincere. He has expressed a belief that grief does not disappear. It changes shape. Loss becomes something carried, integrated into daily living. Through repeated tragedy, he chose not to become distant from the world, but to remain present within it. Renewal through work and partnership. Work became more than profession. It became structure. Reeves continued building a diverse filmography, later revitalizing his action persona with John Wick, portraying a grieving man who channels pain into purpose. The role resonated deeply with audiences, perhaps because authenticity underpinned performance. Beyond film, he co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, reflecting creative passion beyond acting. In 2019, he publicly acknowledged a relationship with artist Alexandra Grant, a partnership rooted in years of friendship and collaboration. Their bond appears grounded and unpretentious, emphasizing companionship over spectacle. Healing in his life has not meant erasing pain but allowing joy to coexist with it. Renewal arrived not dramatically, but gradually. Conclusion: the courage to remain gentle. At 60, Reeves embodies a rare blend of global fame and personal humility. Stories of him riding public transportation, supporting film crews, and offering quiet generosity persist, not because they are staged, but because they align with consistent character. He has portrayed warriors and visionaries, yet his most compelling role remains himself, a man who has endured profound sorrow without surrendering kindness. His life reminds us that tragedy need not define destiny. Strength is not loud, it is steady. Compassion is not weakness, it is resilience refined by loss. In choosing to remain gentle despite repeated heartbreak, he offers something rarer than celebrity inspiration, proof that surviving pain can deepen humanity rather than diminish it. And in that quiet example, many find hope.